Good morning, class. Today we will start a new topic, Mohenjo-daro, a planned urban center from the chapter Bricks, Beats and Bones. So, here comes a planned urban center. So, you will see the most striking features of the Harappa civilization was its town planning and the cities. They were built according to a well laid out scientific plan. Okay, it was laid out scientific plan. There was an excellent uniformity in the planning and construction of the cities, and the study of the town planning of Mohenjo-daro, the most well-known site of the civilization, help us largely to know about the town planning of other Harappan site as well. So here you can see the most unique features of the Harappan civilization was the development of these urban center. Okay, so let us look at one such center here. We call it Mohenjo-daro, as you can see here. Then Mohenjo-daro is the most well-known site. The first site to be discovered was Harappa. So when we talk about Indus Valley civilization, we know very well that Harappa was the first site to be excavated in the year 1921, and it was excavated by Dayaram Sahani, and later on Mohenjo-daro was excavated in the year 1922 by Rakhal Das Banerjee. But here we have taken that example of this town planning. Okay, we have taken the example of Mohenjo-daro or Mohenjo-daro for the town planning. The reason is that this is the largest site of the Indus Valley civilization, as it occupied an area of 125 hectares. So as you can see in this picture, okay, so you will see that this city, it was divided into two sections. Okay, one you can see here is the citadel, another one is the lower town. So this city, it was divided into what? It is divided into two sections. There was a citadel. Okay, so when we talk about the direction, you can see the citadel in the west, and you will find lower town in the east. The citadel was built on a high podium of mud bricks. So when we talk about this citadel, it was built on a platform. Okay, on a you can see platform of mud bricks. It had large buildings which probably might have functioned as administrative and ritual centers. So when we talk about citadel, okay, it was probably, or the fort, it was probably the center of administration as well as the ritual center. Okay, so here comes when we talk about the citadel. You can see it was surrounded. So this citadel, it was surrounded by what? It was surrounded by a wall. Okay, you can see it was surrounded by a wall, a high brick wall, which physically it separated it from the lower town. So when we talk about this citadel, you can see this civilization, okay, it is divided into two sections, where one side you can see the citadel, another side it is a lower town. And when we talk about the citadel, it is totally physically separated by this lower town. The wall separated it physically. Okay, so the citadel was inhabited. Most probably they believe that as it is citadel, it was inhabited by the rulers or the members of the ruling elite class. And the area of the lower town, as far as the infrastructure, as far the building are concerned, as it is believed that it may be the center of economic activities. So this area, you can see, was much larger than or you can see this area, it is much larger than the citadel. Okay, and you can see that this area, it contains the residential areas inhabited by the common people, that is the ruled and the poor. So the lower town was also walled. So when we talk about the citadel, as it was walled, same here the lower town was also walled. You will see several buildings in the lower town were built on a high platform which served as the foundation of the building. So when we talk about the foundation, you can see it was also built on a high foundation or at an elevation. But the elevation was, as far we compare with citadel was more elevated. A large number of laborers had been engaged. Okay, so when we talk about the platform, the foundation, okay, that was built up of the bricks, so you can see it was a large number of the laborers, they were engaged for the construction of this platform. So students, we saw the settlement, it is divided into two sections. Okay, one was the citadel and another we saw the lower town, and these archaeologists, they designated these as the citadel and the lower town. So the citadel, you can see its owe its height to the fact that the building were constructed on a mud brick platform. So when we talk about here, you can see it is constructed on what? On a platform, as we discussed. Which are made up of what? Mud bricks. Okay, and these are elevated at height. So you will see it was walled, which meant that it was physically separated from the lower town. So the lower town was also walled. So important features here you can see, they are, when we talk about the citadel and the lower town, they both were walled, and which meant that it was physically separated from each other. And you can see several buildings, they were built on this platform which served as foundations. So it has been calculated that if one laborer moved roughly a cubic meter of earth daily just to put the foundation in its place, it would have required 4 million person per day. Okay, person days, in other words, mobilizing the labor on a very large scale. So a large number of labor were engaged in this foundation. It means that if one labor is loading 1 cubic ton of earth daily to put the foundation, they require 40 lakh person in a day. They need a large number of labor. So once the platform, okay, were in place, all the building activity within the city was restricted to a fixed area on the platform. So it seemed that the settlement was first planned and then implemented according to that plan. And other sign of plannings includes the very important bricks, which whether the sun-dried or it was baked, were of standardized ratio, where the length and the breadth were 4 times and twice the height respectively. Such bricks were used at all the Harappan settlement. So houses were built generally of the mud bricks, the fired bricks, woods and reeds. So the bricks of bigger size were used for the construction of the fortification of wall. You can see the width was double the thickness and the length was 4 times the thickness. So as you can see here, the length, breadth and the height of a bricks, okay, which was in a standardized ratio of 4.2.1 ratio or 4:1 ratio. Now comes laying out the drains. So one of the distinctive features here of the Harappa civilization, you can see, was the carefully planned drainage system. Okay, so now we talk about the drainage system. So if you look at the plan of the lower town, you will notice the road and the street were laid out along an approximate grid pattern. So grid, here you can see the town, it was laid out in a grid pattern, which are intersecting each other at a right angle. It seems that the street with the drain were laid out first and then houses built along them. So if domestic waste water had to flow into the street drain, every house needed to have at least one wall along a street. तो हम क्या देख रहे हैं यहाँ पर कि हड़प्पा शहर की सबसे अनूठी और विशिष्ट विशेषता थी, वो क्या थी? आप देखते हैं जल निकास प्रणाली या फिर ड्रेनेज सिस्टम। तो इसमें आप देखते हैं कि जैसे अभी मैंने बताया कि यहाँ के जो शहर हैं, यहाँ का जो नक्शा है, ठीक है, वो क्या है? दैट इज मेड अकॉर्डिंग टू द ग्रिड पैटर्न्स. ओके, एंड हियर यू विल सी दैट intersecting at right angle the roads and the street. Okay, they were intersecting each other at a right angle. इसे देखकर ऐसा लगता है कि पहले उन्होंने गलियों को और नालियों को दोनों को एक साथ बनाया होगा, उसके बाद उन्होंने क्या बनाया होगा? उन्होंने आवास क्षेत्र बनाया होगा या फिर घर का निर्माण किया। और यदि घर से जो गंदा पानी है उसे बाहर की तरफ निकालना है तो ये जरूरी था कि हर एक दीवार को क्या है, नाली की तरफ से जोड़ना था। ठीक है, प्रत्येक घर को कि कम से कम एक दीवार की को गली से सटा होना आवश्यक था। ठीक है, कम टू द सोर्स नंबर 2, द मोस्ट एंशियंट सिस्टम येट डिस्कवर्ड. सो Ernest Mackay, in early in the civilization, in the year 1948, he noted about the drainage system of Harappa. About the drains, Mackay noted it is certainly the most complete ancient system as yet discovered. As you see the town planning, the houses that were systematically or built with planning, and every house it was connected to the drain system. The main channels, it were made up of brick set in mortar and were covered with the loose brick that could be removed for cleaning. In some cases, you can see limestone was used for the covers. Houses drain, it was first emptied into a sump or the cesspit into which the solid matter is settled while the waste water flowed out into the street drains. So very long, you can see very long drainage channels were provided at intervals with sump for cleanings. It is wonder for archaeology that little heaps of material, mostly the sand, they have frequently been found lying alongside a drainage channel, which show that the debris was not always carted away when the drain was cleared. So drainage systems were not unique to the larger cities but were found in the smaller settlement as well. At Lothal, you can see, for example, white houses were built of mud bricks, drains were made up of burnt bricks. So main channels, they were made up of bricks and it was cemented. And you can see loose bricks were used to cover so that they can remove that brick for the cleaning. And sometimes they use limestone to cover. So houses drain, okay, they were emptied in a, you can see, sump or a cesspit into which the solid matter settled and the waste matter flowed into the street drains. So some were made at a regular, as you can see here, some were made at a regular interval in the main channel for cleaning the drain. And a small mound of materials, especially the sands, have been found. Laying alongside the drainage system, it means then that the debris was not always removed. Okay, the debris was not always removed away when the drain was cleaned. And you will find the drainage system were not unique to the largest cities, as well as it is unique for the smaller settlement, where you can see the example of Lothal, that the white houses, or you can see the houses, they were made up of mud bricks, while you can see the drain were made up of burnt bricks. So now we talk about the domestic architecture. Earlier we talked about the town and the drainage system. Now we will take the example of a residential building of a house in the Indus Valley civilization. So we will take the example here of Mohenjo-daro. You can see it provides an example of residential buildings, and here, so in this image you will see the model or the layout of a house, especially the double-story house. Okay, so the courtyard, it was probably the centers of activity. So in this house you will see, if we talk about the courtyard, okay, so it was what? It was the center of activity. So we'll take the example of this house as it is portrayed here. So we'll go through this image, the model or the layout of this house, in which we will see the courtyard was the center of activity such as the cooking, and you can see weaving, cooking and weaving. Particularly during the hot and the dry weather. So what is all interesting is an apparent concerns for their privacy. So how much they were concerned about their privacy? Okay, as you can see, privacy of a home. There are no windows in the wall along the ground level. Okay, only you can see one door here at the ground level. There was no window at the ground level. Beside the main entrance does not give a direct view of the interior or the courtyard. So the house was designed as from the main gate, where you can't see the interior of the house. As you can see, every house had its own bathroom, and which is made up of bricks, and with drains. You can see it is connected through the wall to the street drains. Some houses, they have remains of staircases. Okay, some houses, if you can see in this picture also, you will find the staircases that to reach to the second story or the roof. And even many houses had wells, often in a room that could be reached from the outside and perhaps used by the passers-by. The scholars, they have estimated that the total number of the well in Mohenjo-daro was about 700. So here comes what is important about the domestic architecture. Especially we are taking the example of Mohenjo-daro. First we will see the first point. Here is the residential buildings that have been found at the lower town. And when we talk about the dwelling, you can see, or the building were both of large and the small size, and some were of only one room, whereas other with large courtyards having as many as 12 rooms or double story we have seen. And almost all the houses, they had a kitchen, bathroom, toilet and a well. The planning of almost all the large houses, it was similar. As you can see, a square courtyard and many rooms around the courtyard. It seemed that the courtyard was the center of the domestic activities. Particularly during the hot and the dry weather, the activity like the cooking and the weaving, it were performed here. The building were of 2 or 3 stories. Interesting features of the domestic architecture was they were very concerned for privacy. Generally, you can see the doorways and the windows of the house did not open into the main street. There were no window in the wall along the ground level. A room or a wall was built in front of the main entrance to protect the activities in the central courtyard from the views of these passers-by. So the floor of the large houses were often built of burnt bricks, and when we talk about the door, were made up of wood and were painted as well. Some door they had some carving on them. So almost all the houses they had their bathroom which is made up of bricks, and this drains they are connected through the wall to the street drains. So you will see the remains of the staircases to reach a second story or the roof have been found in small houses in towns like Mohenjo-daro and in Harappa. Almost all the large houses they had well, and generally the well was dug in a room that could be reached from the outside. So it was planned, so keeping in view the convenience of the passers-by. So you will see, according to the scholar, there were about 700 wells in Mohenjo-daro.